All right, let's take a quick peek down this way before we get too far into the area. Want to make sure we don't miss anything. Oh, hello. What is this? Why aren't you moving? Okay. Seems a bit peculiar. I guess mob statues? That's a cool addition. That's really neat. I guess it does add a bit of a aesthetic flair to the area. Alright, so what do we got here? Cursed Blade, Sharpness 4, Unbreaking 2. That is definitely an upgrade from what we have. Oh god, no! Jesus! Wow! Hello and welcome back to another Rocks CTM test world. And it's been a long time in the makings. I mean, it's been like 9 months since we've done 9-ish months since we've done our last Rocks CTM test world. And as you saw with our little demo there of what we'll be showing today, I think it adds a pretty cool aesthetic flair to an area, as well as it's a nifty trap. That being said, what we're talking about is mob statues, reanimated mob statues, or reanimating mob statues. Now, it could be one of those things where you have an area or various areas that have these mob statues, and then, you know, randomly we find a trap that animates some of them. So that is the gist of what we're going to be going over today. Now, how about do we do some mob statues? Well, there's a few important things to have in order for this to work properly. The gist of it is there's a few NBT tags that we need to set in order for this to work correctly. That being invulnerable, with it being set to 1, that makes the mob unable to be hit while you're in survival mode. You can throw a potion at them, you can hit him with a bow, hit him with a sword, an arrow. Regardless of what you hit them with, they're not going to take damage, nor are they going to move. The next important aspect to keep or have is no AI set to 1. This will make it so the zombies don't move or in effective can't move. So even if we break the block under the zombie or whatever mob that you're using for the statues, they won't fall. So you could have floating mobs if you wanted, and because of no AI, they won't move. The next important thing is silent set to 1 on the NBT tag, and this will make it so they don't moan and groan, which they will do if you don't have that. So that, in the gist of it, creates the mob effectively makes it a mob statue. Now, as you can see with our little summon command, we just kind of teleport a zombie. This zombie just has a zombie skull on its head so it doesn't burn up in the sunlight. And then we set the and stuff. One important tag to keep in mind if you're having the mobs persistently stay in the map instead of summoning them in when you need them is to set persist required on. That way, the mob won't despawn if you get too far away from it. So with that, we have ourselves a mob statue. Now, how about do we go about activating them? So this over here is our little fill clock, as you can see. And this is the extent of it right here in order to make it work. These two command blocks. The first one is checking to make sure we have a particular item in our inventory. In this case, we're test for an item in our inventory called the Cursed Blade. Now, you can do this based off of an item name. You can do this based off of lore text. Lore text is probably going to be the most safest way. Actually, either way, it doesn't matter. If you have it in a situation like this, having this search for a name isn't going to matter. But essentially, you're searching for an item in the player's inventory that they picked up from the chest, in this case being the Cursed Blade, and then you're activating the mobs. And by activating them, I mean, bam. So what we're doing is we're running an execute command at the player, or all players, and then we're setting the entity data of any zombie within 25 radius of the player. We're turning invulnerability off. we're turning no AI off, and we're turning silent off, and that will turn the mobs back into normal mob behavior. Now, if you are having this, if you do end up using mob statues in your map as aesthetic things, and you do have a trapped area that has mob statues, I would highly recommend that you end up disabling the clock, or removing the command block through a set block after you do so. Else, you'll end up if you have the weapon, you'll end up getting near other zombie mob statues, for example, and enabling them as well. So that is the gist. Those two right there is the gist of how this works. And a quick thing to make it easier for you guys is rotating the mobs into place. If you summon them in, is as simple as running a little execute command that teleports the mobs to the same place with a rotation to them. So this is running an execute from the player and teleporting all zombies within a 5 radius, and setting their rotation to 90. So, for example, if we say kill this guy right here, but because we're in creative, we can do that. So we summon him right here, and then he'll rotate into position. And it's the same over here, except with a 270 degree versus the 90. That is the gist of reanimated mob statues. Definitely, mob statues in general could be a very cool thing to add to maps. That's not something I've seen in CTM maps as of yet, but it's something that could be used. And having them reanimate is a nifty trap in itself. Anyways, if you have any comments, questions, suggestions, or feedback, feel free to leave a comment in the comment section down below. As always, this is Rock. I'll catch you guys next time. Bye!